Isaiah, I will spread prosperity over her like a river. And he's talking about Jerusalem after a time of suffering, invasion, destruction, slavery. And now is the time to reconstruct, to rebuild, to put it again in blessing. And that happens for us all the time. Sometimes we find our lives like we are in the Six Flags park. Up and down, and up and down, and twisted, and completely in revolt. And in those moments, we cry, we feel sadness, loneliness, weakness, shame. We don't understand, and many times we don't know what's going on. That's what used to happen to Jerusalem. And isn't that moment where we can take a time and in the middle of the storm we can find rest, comfort. That's what the Lord is telling us today. All you who were mourning over her, you will suck fully of the meal of her comfort. And where is that comfort coming from? Let's try to remember when we were very child and dealing with those first pains of falling down and those first accidents in our lives. We didn't need a doctor. We didn't need medicine or wherever. What was enough was a gentle care, love of word of the mother. That's all. Anything happens, I'm here with you. A big hug was enough to console all the tears and suffering of the loneliness and vulnerability. That's what the Lord is offering us today. He's here for us. In those very moments when we don't find any other solution, when we don't find any other consolation, when our trouble seems to be the only expression of our lives, and when we have hope and we turn our hope into God, we receive that comfort. Here I am. You are not alone. I will spread prosperity over Jerusalem like a river. And that Jerusalem is your life. That Jerusalem is your person. That Jerusalem is all what you have and need. I will spread prosperity over Jerusalem like a river. Do you believe this? Do you have enough hope just to be like a conqueror over your problems, against all the suffering, with this hope? And I invite you to transform your life to be a conqueror with the power of God, with the grace of God. And a great teacher of this is St. Paul. St. Paul has been suffering a lot. Why? Because he decided to follow Jesus no matter what. He's a great teacher. with his example, is leading us to find all the hope and strength we need in life. And he's telling us that he's bearing the marks of Jesus in his body. And many doctors of the Bible just think that he's talking about the stigmata. Perhaps he used to have the stigmata as St. Francis of Assisi and other saints in the Catholic Church. But many others things about the scars of the many sufferings he got on his body because of spreading the gospel all around. From now on, let me no one make troubles for me. And that's an expression of a great peace. Because he found his place of comfort and rest in Jesus' love. That's so powerful. That's so simple. And perhaps because it's so simple, we don't trust or we don't believe. It's so simple. Because God's solutions are simple. Yeah. Remember the officer of the Syrian kingdom that came to visit the prophet. He was full of leper. And the prophet told him, "Go and wash yourself 7 times on the river." And he was offended. We have bigger and beautiful rivers in our country. What it means to take a wash here in this little river means nothing. But at the end, he accepted the simplicity of that act that gave him the healing and the answer he needed. Now the Lord is offering you simplicity, but power. Simplicity, but power. The power of his love coming to you. Disciple. A disciple is someone who is following a master. And there are 2 principal characteristics in a disciple. First, the disciple hears, pay attention, is hearing, is listening. And then the second is that the disciple follows. Take the decision to follow his master. He privileged his time and treasure in order to be with his master. And we see it with the apostles. They decided to quit everything in order to follow Jesus, no matter what and no matter how. It was a decision of their will. Why? Because the attractive personality of Jesus. And they discovered that they could not be alive without him. And not only the 12, and then these begin to spread all around. And now we find the gospel talking about 72 disciples. A lot of them who decided to quit everything and begin to be seriously engaged with a personal commitment with the kingdom of God. And who's the kingdom of God? The kingdom of God is Jesus Christ. That's why they're telling everyone the kingdom of God is at hand. It's Jesus. You can have it, you can touch him, you can be with him. the kingdom of God is at hand. And when you receive that kingdom of God, all the blessings and God's power arise. And that's what they discovered. At the beginning, many years ago, when I read this, I was thinking, this is full of injustice. How the Lord just sent all these people without nothing. And this passage of the gospel just inspired St. Francis of Assisi to live in the poorness, because he understood that with this he will get a lot of freedom. And he decided to make the experience. He just discovered that anything was out of his possibility. And he used to say, when I lost everything, I gained everything. That's a mystery. That's why the Lord is telling them, go without anything, any resources, any money, because you will find whatever you need. And I have made this experience many, many times. I remember one day we went to celebrate the Pentecost feast in France, and I was living in Spain. And we made this path with two brothers for a new community. And one of the rules of life is not to receive or handle any money. So we made all this pilgrimage without money, just asking for the people to take us, being caught by the policemen. You're not allowed to do this, you have to move. We saw you by the cameras and nothing to eat. But that was beautiful to see the providence, God's providence. God's providence. And that helps a lot to see in which ways the Lord take care of us. He is making of these disciples agents of peace, reconciliation, love. But for those who reject them, there is a curse. Yes, because on rejecting them, they are rejecting Jesus. The kingdom of God is at hand. And they were sent with full power to heal, to forgive, to reconcile, and to deliver from evil. And they recognize that. So be more helpful, not for this power, but because of your names are written in heaven. And that's a reality for all of us. Through our baptism, our names are written in heaven. That's a reality. Please keep that on your mind. The great dignity we have because of our baptism. And we are like these disciples. We are called by God and sent by Him to proclaim the good news, to tell to others the good things that are happening to us, the big power the Lord gave us, and the hope that is leading our lives into eternity. Amen.